Hello again, I'm Robert Fithen with just another pretty straightforward vinyl finds video. Just a couple of the records I've picked up in the last month or so, and a pretty interesting one to start it off with. A long-awaited one. This is Danzig 3, How the Gods Kill, originally from 1992. Now, I've already done a big long review on this when I did my deep dive into 1992. Excellent album from Danzig. I'm really a big fan of the first three. The fourth one is okay. They released all four on vinyl, finally, or I should say re-released, after all these years, official versions. There have been several bootleg ones out there. And the big question, how does it sound? Well, it definitely does not sound as compressed as some of the bootlegs that I've heard. I've never owned any of them, but I've heard some of them in the record store. And this, it definitely pops out, especially the clanging. And in the first track, yeah, that pops right out of the speakers. It does sound a little bit crunchy, I guess is the best way to describe that. A little brittle once it starts getting towards the center of the record on both sides. You definitely have that inner groove distortion. This is a 50-minute album. They're trying to put it on one record. That's going to happen a lot of the times. It's gatefold. I have the shrink wrap still on it, so I've never actually taken the shrink wrap off to get to the gatefold. But the reason I picked Danzig 3 as the reissue to get, because I like them all just about equally, but this one I like, this one has the actual artwork on it. The first one just has the skull, on the side and you open it up. The second one is not the same as the CD. The CD has the chest, with the muscles and everything, and then the tape had the faces going down it, so they released the tape version for the album with the faces on there. But this one is the H.R. Geiger artwork, so I figured if I was going to get one, which I only wanted to get one, try it out, I would get Danzig 3, How the Gods Kill. This is the one with Dirty Black Summer on it, Bodies, Sinista. I mean, just excellent album. Definitely that hard bluesy, evil sounding rock and his bellowing voice. It all just works really, really well. Excellent album. Probably just going to listen to this every once in a great while. The CD will still be my go-to because that's what I, have listened to for decades. But I did want to try out one of the vinyl reissues. I'm not big into, and I've said this a lot of times, but again, I'm not really, just my own personal tastes, my own preferences. I'm not really into 90s vinyl reissues. They don't do anything for me. Record Store Day comes along. I don't get any of those. I know a lot of people get really excited when an album from the 90s gets re-released on vinyl. I still see it as a CD being put on a record, which is not appealing to me. But Danzig was kind of an exception. I wanted to get this just to try it out. And it's been so long awaited. And I just had to get like one. And just one was enough. One to try it out. And it's pretty good. There's some crackling in there. I forgot to mention that. You probably need to clean your record when you get it. Brand new record that you need to clean. I'm old. I remember when you got the record right out of the thing and you didn't need to clean it, but we're in a different time now. Also picked this up. This is Iron Maiden Somewhere in Time from 1986. I'm not the biggest Iron Maiden fan. I really like their early albums, like the first three. And then after that, my interest kind of wanes. This is the one with Wasted Years on it, so that's, great track on here. Very first track on here is Killer as well. Somewhere in Time, title track's okay. But mostly, I get a little tired if I'm listening to a full Iron Maiden album past like 1984. I get a little... Bruce Dickinson's vocals start to wear on me a little bit if I'm listening to the whole thing all the way through. I did find out in my deep dive from 1992 that I do actually like Fear in the Dark a lot more than most people. But I got this for a bargain. This was like $15. This is like a $40 record. And I thought, you know what? I need some more Iron Maiden. And I love the artwork. Their artwork blown up like that. Well, it's not blown up. This is the original size. But their artwork like that, 12 by 12, with Eddie on there cruising through town. You get to read all the little things going on here in the background. It's so much better than a CD when it comes to that. But I got this for like a really big discount because it has a scuff on it. Other than that, this thing is very, very clean, as you can see. But it has this big, thick scuff that of course, it's right on Wasted Years. It goes through right there. I don't know if you can make that out or not. But, yeah. And so the thing is, it is audible when the, it's between two tracks. And it is slightly audible. But yeah, it doesn't skip or anything, and you know, this is a loud record, so once the music started, the scuff is completely drowned out. So I'm glad to have this for such a great price. And this also includes, like I said, Caught Somewhere in Time, great track with that. And again, you have the typical Iron Maiden thing, especially later on, where it looks like you're reading titles and it looks like you're reading out of an old TV guide. You know, The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. You know, that's a movie, you know, and so you get things on here, you know, Stranger in a Strange Land, another, you know, literary reference with the title, and Alexander the Great, and, you know, so they do that all the time. It's like, I've said this before, it's great to get an Iron Maiden album and try to figure out, you know, oh, here's the books that they've been reading lately, because here's all the song titles. They're just book titles or movie titles. But I thought it was interesting. This is one of those ones where whoever owned this before me obviously didn't take great care of it with that huge scuff on there, but they took enough care of it to, you know, have this resealable plastic sleeve over it. This is the way that it came, like that. That still is just hilarious to me when people do that. This I'm not even going to get into that, but there's an opening on the site. Anyway, so yeah, The Cure. Here's another one I got at a great bar because I got it in a collection. Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. This was the first, I want to say the first full-length Cure album I ever heard. This is how I was introduced to The Cure, with Why Can't I Be You all over MTV, especially like their specialty shows like 120 Minutes. I just thought that was wild. It reminded me of like the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour because they're all in these animal like costumes and whatever. And yeah, that was the first big song I heard from The Cure. And then I had a friend in high school that turned me on to all their older stuff. And then I got the video for Staring at the Sea, the videos. And then I got the Standing on the Beach compilation, the cassette version with all the B-sides on the second. And then I started getting all their CDs and Head on the Door, especially. But also the U.S. version of Boys Don't Cry and Pornography and Faith and all those. And just was absolutely hooked. And then their new album came out after all that. Disintegration, and I was like, oh my god, this is so melodic and whatever. Then they started going a little pop for me. This is the first time I think they broke through with the pop stuff, because this has Just Like Heaven on it as well. But a lot of great tracks on here. You know, Hot, Hot, Hot is the other big single off here. But there's a lot of tracks hiding on here that are well worth a listen. This is a double album, and again, in just absolutely excellent condition. Not a gatefold. It's just a single sleeve there for two records. It does have all of the, I should have mentioned too that Danzig's on black vinyl. It's not color vinyl or anything, but yeah, I'm just, the artwork here is just like eyes and lips and lyrics. There's no photos of the band at all for such a visual band that, you know, there's none of that to be had on here. So yeah, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me from The Cure. Excellent album, and got that at an excellent price. I think that was like, when I added it all up, that was probably a $10 record, $8, and you know, it's like a $45 album now, especially an original like that. And now I have an album from the Jam. I have never had one of these before, and so yeah, I have an album from the Jam now. I was told a long time ago, you need to get some Jam in your collection. Who's the guy that's on YouTube? That Rob Walker. Oh my God, biggest Jam fan in the world. Haven't seen him around lately, but yeah, if you know him, make sure to mention that I have an album from the Jam now. This is Sound FX. I used to see this back in the 90s and I thought it was literally a sound effects album because it didn't notice the A there. And, you know, it just says Jam there in little letters. But yeah, first song on here called Start. It sounds like Taxman from the Beatles. This is great. I should have got this a long time ago. Very upbeat, very lively. Lyrics are great. The music is great. Production is great. I'm not real keen on the vocals a lot. I mean, I think they're okay. They're not mind-blowing or anything. But this is a solid album all the way through. Like I said, a lot of energy, a lot of, you know, it's that post-punk kind of thing where the rawness and the, you know, in-your-face attitude of the punk stuff is kind of dying out, and they're moving more into a melodic kind of fully fledged out songs, less of the attitude, and sounds great. This one sounds great too. Cheap Trick, One on One. I mentioned before in a video way back that, you know, I'm getting more into Cheap Trick albums. I had their greatest hits, and I had at Budokan, and I thought they were okay. Well, they're great actually. The one I thought was okay that I've always had was their debut, And a lot of people really, really love the debut, and I just think it's okay. I'm not really that into it. And so I never really got a lot of their albums, and then I got one of their albums at a big estate sale and did a video about all those albums. And which one was that? Was it Heaven Tonight? It was Heaven Tonight. And was like, man, this album is just killer all the way through. Been missing out on Cheap Trick albums all these years. And then after that, I got In Color, and I just reviewed Next Position, Please on an 83 video. That one's okay, but yeah, In Color and especially Heaven Tonight, just absolutely solid. And this one's pretty good too. This is from 82. This is One on One. This is the one that has She's Tight on it, but there's all kinds of great songs on here. I Want You is just very upbeat, just loud. Not so much power pop. It's louder than that. It's heavier than that. It's basically just straight ahead hard rock. Not too hard. Not a lot of hard rock attitude or whatever. But yeah, If You Want My Love is the other track on here that's on all their greatest hit stuff. That's more of a, them trying to get on top 40 radio with a real mainstream sound. But yeah, they go way off the mainstream with the I Want Human. I Want Be Man, where the guy's a robot. It has all these like robot effects going on. Kind of sounds like the car's gone crazy or something like that. Saturday at Midnight's excellent. That's just a great feel to that song. Yeah, I should have got this a long time ago. One on One from Cheap Trick. If you're into Cheap Trick and you like Heaven Tonight, and you're like, the 80s stuff isn't that great, this one is actually, this was actually pretty great. So check that one out. Lou Reed's debut, got this. I'm currently going to be working on I'm going to be continuing my deep dives with 1972, and this is a 1972 album, so I got this just in time. And this is, I'm going to do a full review on this, and the 1972 deep dive is way, 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 way down the road, so don't expect that really soon. But I want to do a full review on this then. But it is a primitive sound. It is not Transformer, even though that came out the same year. That's quite a leap up, working with David Bowie, Mick Ronson, But yeah, this one it's okay. It's Lou Reed doing his like I'm too cool to sing attitude, hey, whatever. And but it does sound very primitive, even though these are songs that were originally done in an even more primitive way with Velvet Underground. And then we found that out later on when they started releasing all the vault songs from Velvet Underground. This was there's a lot of songs on here that they were working on with Velvet Underground that never got issued at the time, and then he put them all on this album and did them. I love the cover art though. I love the jewel there cracking open, the little bird there just kind of hanging out, that awesome kind of glowing, kind of breathing Lou Reed thing there. But yeah, this has an early version of Berlin on it as well, and it's the typical bare bones rock sound. And he's working with the two guys from Yes on this, which it definitely does not sound like a Yes. Rick Wakeman and Steve Howe. It definitely doesn't sound like a Yes album. That is for sure. Here's the Undisputed Truth. They had a big hit on their debut. What was it? They were a one-hit wonder. What was that called? Oh my God, something like Seeing Eyes Sometimes. I can't remember the name of that damn song, but they were a one-hit with that. This is 1976 though. I love the cover art of this too. It's one of the reasons I wanted to check this out. It's just that great cover art. They're all coming down from a spaceship or whatever. First track on here called Cosmic Contact is like 3.5 minutes of this conversation back and forth with them and the alien that's landed to Earth, or they want to be taken up to space or whatever, because there's a method to their madness and nobody down here on Earth understands it. So maybe they'll understand it on another planet. Method to the Madness is the name of the album. And it just goes on for way too long. That first track with the conversation. It's like, okay, we get it. You guys are wild and crazy and Earth's not ready for you, so you're going to go to another planet. That could have been done in a minute or less. We don't need 3.5 minutes of that. But yeah, is the you plus me equals love was a big club hit apparently, but they didn't really. Smiling Faces Sometimes, that's what it was called. They didn't have another hit besides that, like a top 40 thing, but they did have a big club hit with the and it's a jam. I mean, it's absolute. You can tell that that's a dance floor burner. There's a couple of those on here, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's a nice 3-star album, but it does have that dance floor burner. You plus me equals love. There's another one on here too called Let's Go Down to the Disco. That's pretty much burning up the dance floors, I'm sure, and the rest of it's kind of, it's all right. You know, it's not too bad. You got to skip over that whole, like, first intro thing, though. Man, that goes on for too long. This one, speaking of cover art, like Lou Reed and Undisputed Truth and Iron Maiden and Danzig, I talked about the cover art for all those. This is the only reason I got this is for the cover. This is a $1 album. This is Maxell 2 Rock, because they have a classical one, and they have a 1 Rock. This is 2 Rock, and this is why I got it. I love the back cover there with all the different Maxell recording tape from the time. This is 1980, so you get to see. And I didn't realize there were metal tapes in 1980. I didn't think those came out until like 84, 85, but no, I mean, I was not able to get like metal recording tapes when I was, what, 5 years old, so, you know, 6 years old. So, yeah, and they have, of course, the blank 8-track and the big reel here, the smaller reel, and then the different levels of recording cassettes. Yeah, Maxell, and then the gatefold here. Really nice presentation here for just a $1 album. Has all the bands on here and what they're all about. You know, this is kind of a sampler, so you hear the band and then you want to go out and buy their album. The biggest song on here is Triumph, Hold On. The rest of these are not big hits. You have Orleans on here with Outlaws on here with Coming Home. You have Sticks on here from Sticks 2. And You Need Love, and Daryl Hall and John Oates with Bebop, Bebop, you know, which is not, you know, it's not exactly Rich Girl or, you know, She's Gone or something like that. Poco, Boomerang, you know, Poco, it's not exactly Crazy Love. So you have a lot of songs that most people are not familiar with. It only has 8 tracks on it, but it's a $1 album. You can get this anywhere for $1, but I just love that. Maxell was the company. A lot of people remember this as Memorex, but it was actually Maxell that had the campaign with the guy sitting in the chair and he turns on the speakers and the scarf blows back and everything and the drink starts moving off the table. That's Maxell. That is not Memorex. Memorex's thing was, is it live or is it Memorex? And, you know, I don't know, who was it? Was it Ella Fitzgerald or somebody singing and the glass breaks and then they play the tape back and the glass breaks again. But yeah, Maxell was the iconic, and they made posters out of it and everything with the guy with the scarf blowing back in the seat. Okay, so we've done those. Let's wrap it up by getting downright silly. Got some silly ones I want to share with you. First of all, I've been looking for this for a long time, since I was 9 years old. If you remember Showbiz Pizza Place, then you remember this group. They are the Rock-afire Explosion, and they are an ape and a bear and other animals. I think that's supposed to be a mouse or a rat and a... Anyway, they're all this animatronic, you know, similar to Chuck E. Cheese, which would come later, and then even after that, Five Nights at Freddy's, it's that kind of thing. But these guys were from the early 80s, and I used to go to Showbiz Pizza. My sister was nice enough to take me, and you would win this record. If you bought enough tokens and played enough games and got enough high of a score, you would win this record. And I never was able to do that because I only won a few times. So I was never able to get this record, but I always would see it up there on the thing. It's a record. Obvious. I'm 9 years old, 8 years old. I want that, you know, obviously. They did have 45s, and I was able to get a couple of those, but I always wanted their album, and I never saw it anywhere. And now it's like $60. It's like $60 median price on Discogs. And so people have seen that, and now they want to try to sell theirs for $60 or 70 or 75. I got this for $1. I could not believe it. And finally was able to listen to this, and man, is this horrible. My childhood, this is terrible. The first song on here is Little Sister. So you have a lot of cover songs on here. The first one is a cover of Elvis Presley's Little Sister. And the very first thing you hear is like the bear talking to the rat or whatever. And they're like, hey, yo, Louie, hey, you know, hey, somebody's little sister, she broke your heart, didn't she? Yeah, she broke my heart too, the big sister. Hey, but you know, she's got a little sister. Yeah, have you seen a little sister? She's looking good lately. Yeah, I've seen her. Hey, let's give it to her. Do-do-do-do-do, little sister, don't you? And then they sing it as a duet. Let's give it to her? She's got a nice looking little sister. Let's give it to her. That's the way a children's record starts out. And then they duet, they sing together as they're going to go out on a date with this little sister. That's not a song you sing as a duo. What do you have it? So now we've got, as a child, on a children's record, you've got a three-way with a bear and a rat talking about an ape's little sister. How they're going to have a menage a trois. What the hell, man? Crazy. And they've got this accents like, yo, hey, whoa, hey. I don't remember that as a child, them talking like that. But, you know, after that, you get a cover of, you know, Light My Fire and My Love from Paul McCartney. My Love Does It Good. That whole double entendre. That's on a children's album now. I Can't Get No Satisfaction. I'm Trying to Make Some Girl. You know, they couldn't even sing, the Rolling Stones couldn't even sing that on the Ed Sullivan Show. Now it's on a children's record. Born to Be Wild. You May Be Right. You know, I may be crazy, but it just might be a lunatic you're looking for. You know, it just Unchained Melody, and then of course a Beatles medley at the end. Terrible. I mean, this sounds like the worst karaoke you've ever heard. The dude, whoever is doing the vocals on this, can barely sing. I don't know who it is. It's obviously not really a singing bear or a singing ape, but I don't want this anymore. I'm glad I finally got to hear it and check that box off my childhood, but I will be getting rid of this. And hopefully somebody will pay $50 for this. I don't think it's going to happen, especially with that side there. But yeah. If you remember Record Store Day, they came out with a Rock-afire Explosion record, and it was really big. So a lot of people have nostalgia for that, but I'm thinking as soon as they put that stylus on there and start listening, they're going to be like, yeah, I kind of regret this. I want to just go with my memories of them up on the stage and eating the pizza, and the parents are getting drunk, and you know, my sister took me, but I would see other parents getting drunk, and you know, they're up there, and then all of a sudden they malfunction and they go, "Hey, you may be right. I mean," and that little kids everywhere just freaking out like, "Oh my God!" And they have like nightmares for a year. Showbiz Pizza. Finally, keeping the ridiculous theme going. I told you we're going to get silly here. Telly Savalas. I've heard about this. Now I've heard it. This was, again, like $2, but it's in absolutely mint condition because when you buy this, you don't actually play it. It's got a cut corner here, so I'm assuming somebody paid like $1.99 for this. Why in the world would you pay full price for a Telly Savalas album? And this has, again, just like the Showbiz Pizza, this has a bunch of covers on there. A Song for You, you know, the Leon Russell, you know, Willie Nelson did that. A bunch of people did that song. You've Lost That Love and Feeling. You and Me Against the World, the Helen Reddy song, he does that. Something from the Beatles. If, he does the song If, which is a Bread song. I've never actually heard their song, but he does that. Help Me Make It Through the Night. He doesn't sing, and I think at least he knows he can't sing, so it's a lot of talking. It's a lot of this kind of like, I'm just going to talk to you. I'm just going to talk the lyrics like this. You never close your eyes anymore when I reach for you, and there's no tenderness before in the things you do. You're trying hard not to show it, but baby, I know it. You've lost that love and feeling. And he'll like put a note in there every once in a while, and he'll start to like, he's almost going to start singing. It's the chorus. And then he pulls it back. I can't sing. Wait a minute. I just remembered something. I can't sing. So I'm going to start talking again as the next verse happens. Ah, yes, you've lost that love and feeling. You know, there's something in the way that she moves. I don't want to leave her now, and I know I believe in how. You're asking me if our love will grow? I don't know, baby. I don't know. Stick around. Am I going on to? Yes, I am. Telly Savales, if it's a novelty record at this point, and I think it was a novelty record 2 days after it came out. I think somebody took this seriously for about 90 seconds on the day of its release, and after that, we're cutting corners, and we're calling this a novelty album. Yeah, Telly Savales is going to wrap up my vinyl finds. We started with Danzig, and an album that people have been waiting years and years to be released. We end with Telly Savalas and a cut corner. Right after Showbiz Pizza, Rock-afire Explosion. That's how we do the vinyl finds on this channel. I'm Robert Fithin, back to 1983 Deep Dive next. Thank you so much for watching this video. And hopefully I'll talk to you again next time.